Mr. Patterson, would you lead us in invocation?
Dear gracious Heavenly Father, Creator of heaven and earth, we want to thank you for your many blessings of life. We want to thank you for guiding us, Lord, and for this meeting, Lord, of these people that are here, what their jobs are and what they do for the county, Lord, and their concern for the county. Lord, we just ask that you would give us as commissioners discernment and wisdom on the things that we do here, Lord. Help us to do your will and not ours, Lord. And we want to just to be at peace and to do the business in a manner that would be pleasing to you, Lord. Thank you now for all these things we ask in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. A couple of quick announcements before we move on to item number 2. Our county attorney is not here, could not be here tonight. And the second item is I would request that you please silence your cell phones while you're here. And if you need to take or make a call, please step outside. Thank you for your cooperation. First item is to approve the minutes of the September 24th regular and September 24th workshop minutes. Please let me know when you gentlemen are ready to move forward.
I've read and have no objections.
I have as well, Mr. Chairman. I'm ready.
Okay, I ask for a motion, we approve the minutes.
Make a motion.
All right. I'll make the second. All in favor? Minutes are approved. Okay, public commentary. If you wish to speak, please raise your hand, be recognized, and come forward to the podium. Who would like to be first? Anyone? Okay, we'll close public commentary and move on to new business. Item number 3 is a variance request from Stephen Bowler and Catherine Ramsdale. First of all, is there anyone here that opposes this variance? This is to build a garage from Old Toccoa Loop, and the garage will be 25 by 25, and it will be 21 feet from the edge and 34 feet from the center line of Old Toccoa Loop. This is not a county road. Mr. Patterson, you got any thoughts on this one, sir?
No, sir. I looked at it. It's fine as far as my opinion goes. I think we'd be able to give them the variance.
Okay. Commissioner Johnson, any thoughts? Okay, I've looked at this as well. I don't have any issues with it, so I'll ask for a motion that we approve this variance for Mr. Stephen Bowler and Ms. Ramsdale.
Make the motion.
Okay, do I hear a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor? Motion is approved. Okay, the next variance request is for Cooper Properties LLC. Is there anyone here that opposes this variance? Okay. And this is to replace the existing house and rebuild within 10 foot of the property line. The owner has both lots, the adjoining lot and the lot, of course, that he's requesting. Commissioner Patterson, did you have any thoughts on this one, sir?
Well, you know, he owns both lots, but when I went out there, I had very much difficulty and could never find it, to be honest with you, Chairman.
Okay. All right. The one thing that was missing, I went out last Wednesday and then Monday to find this location, and it's very important that we have a county variance request form prominently displayed on the property. And the reason for this is because if any neighbors or anyone has an objection or concern, they can fully see what the property is and the meeting date, and it gives the public an opportunity to express a concern if it's not up there. I didn't necessarily have a problem with the variance itself. It's just that we didn't have this request form put out there. How do you feel, Commissioner Johnson?
I don't think without him properly displaying the variance proposal that it would be unfair to any of the neighbors in the area. I don't know any other way they would know what he was proposing, so
Okay.
I don't think we should move forward with the variance, means that it never was advertised.
I would, what I would recommend and make a motion here in a minute is that we basically table this variance request. And Ms. Woody, you're back there somewhere?
Yes, sir.
What we'll do is hopefully you could communicate with the property owner and let them know we have to table this variance, and for them to please put this out there where people have a chance. But I'll make a motion that we table this variance until our next commission meeting. I'll make that motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second. Okay, all in favor? Variance will be tabled until our next meeting. Our next item of business, number 5, is an application for an alcoholic beverage license at it's a farm winery request for the cider house. And the person making the request is Stephanie Nicole Cotts. And we are not voting on this tonight. Our purpose here is basically to make the public aware that Ms. Cox has applied for this farm winery license. I believe it has to run, has it already run in the paper, Sherry? Okay. And what we'll do is just make sure we follow the proper procedure to make the public aware of it. And then the intent would be to have this on our next Board of Commissioner meeting, which I believe is October 22nd.
That's correct.
And at that time, foreseeing any difficulties, make a decision on it at that time. So really, there's no vote to be made tonight. Any comments or anything, any commissioners at this time?
I'm fine with that.
Okay. Anything from you?
Looks like they have all their paperwork for the application in order.
Okay. All right. We'll set this aside and bring it back up for the next Board of Commissioner meeting. And we'll be rechecking all the information here on the license application to confirm all that. Okay, item number 6, North Georgia Mountain Crisis Network, proclamation for Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And this is, we're very, very appreciative of the group of folks that work very hard at the North Georgia Mountain Crisis Network. You're certainly not doing this for the money. You're doing it for what you're doing. If anyone would like to come forward and speak on your behalf, I can guarantee you we're going to sign this proclamation. That's no problem. But any.
I'm the director of the North Georgia Mountain Crisis Network, and myself and our staff and our board members have come before you today to ask that you sign the proclamation for Domestic Violence Awareness Month. We serve Fannin, Gilmer, and Pickens counties. We have a safe shelter here in the county, and we just do what we can in the community to the people who don't need shelter, just to offer them the services they need and coordinate when they're in crisis with domestic violence.
Okay. I'll read just a little bit of this proclamation, not the whole thing, but the proclamation is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Whereas domestic violence affects people of all races, ages, income levels, genders, and religious backgrounds. It is an intolerable violent crime with public health implications for victims, survivors, as well as family members, partners, neighbors, or peers of victims, survivors. And we do hereby claim the month of October to be Domestic Violence Awareness Month in Fannin County, and urge all citizens to observe this month by becoming aware of the reality and tragedy of domestic violence, and by supporting the North Georgia Mountain Crisis Network and its efforts to end domestic violence. Signed this 8th day of October 2019. And I'll sign this, and if you would like, we'll all step out and maybe take a picture.
Thank you, we appreciate this.
We appreciate all you do. Thank you.
We got something here.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You guys don't have to stick around. You're welcome to.
That's what Ronnie said, he.
No, we're good. We had your copy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You can come back anytime. Item number 7, Mr. Ratcliffe.
Good afternoon, Commissioners.
Yes,
Good
sir.
afternoon.
I got a couple of requests, if you don't mind. I've got a couple pieces of equipment I need to purchase one and repair one. I've got a quote on that 2019 Leroy 250-gallon tractor stripper, which is a tar trailer. I've got the price tag on this thing, it's $13,600. I've done some checking around some different ones, and this seems to be about the best I can get on these things.
You might explain to everybody exactly what you do with this piece of equipment. Is that?
We'll probably, this thing will probably utilize to do some pothole patching with, or if we're out paving, maybe connected driveways and whatnot with it. It's just 250 gallons of tar is what it's got on. It'll heat it. It can be cool with a truck out to the job site. Self-contained.
Well, it's definitely something needed. You got any thoughts, Commissioner Johnson?
It's a much easier process to pull a trailer mounted unit around than driving that
2,000 gallon.
2,000 gallon tank
Big.
around everywhere, so.
Just for a small job, it is.
I agree.
You have any thoughts, Mr. Patterson?
I'm fine with it.
Okay.
Instead of him having to keep 2,000 gallons of material hot in the winter, it's a lot easier to keep 250 gallons at the correct temperature. We won't be spending all that time and money, heating 2,000 gallons worth of material.
And this is coming from your splash, right?
Correct. Yes, sir.
Okay. And this is for $13,600 total. And you're looking at this from company Reynolds Warren Equipment in Lake City, Georgia.
Correct.
And it's brand new and really will be great in the wintertime, but to be able to do that. Okay. Well, I don't have any more questions on it, and I'll make the motion that we approve this purchase for $13,600. I'll make the motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second. All in favor? It's approved.
All right, the next item I have, I've got a 2002 Sterling dump truck. It's a tandem axle truck. Gonna have to do some engine work on it. It's on the way down on us. And I've nursed that truck all summer, and it's come to the point now we're gonna have to do something. So do an in-frame rebuild on the thing. Hopefully we've saved enough of it to do that. We're looking at $9,615.36, something like that, to get this taken care of. That's a quote from Raptor Truck Company in Blair for this repair shop.
How long does it take them to get it done,
He
sir?
never really gave me an estimate of time-wise, but he usually, we've done one last year or so, it didn't take him a couple of weeks to have everything back together.
Zach, do they give you some type of 60 days or?
Yeah, there's warranty. I can't remember exactly what it was, but there is warranty on it. I can't remember. It is 30 or 60, something like
Something
that.
like that.
Yeah, he's been real good. If we had a
You
little
worked
leak or
with him
something,
before?
oh yeah, he's been outstanding with that. So I haven't had a problem with it. I wouldn't, if I was having a problem, I definitely
Okay.
would do it. They've been real good to us.
Is that top and bottom end? Or?
Yeah. Heads and all, head come off and everything. It's a sequel, I believe, or 15 liter cat motors. Yeah, he's gonna, it says, on deck the head and all that good stuff with, you know, and everything when he comes top ends and stuff.
And I guess I'll go ahead and put a new clutch and all that while the engine's down.
That's my thing. If it's not in there, we definitely gonna do that. Well, if he does in-frame, he won't have full engine, but if he has full engine, we have to put a clutch in.
How many hours on that truck, Zach?
I don't recall, I think it's getting up there around 500,000 miles maybe, maybe a little more than that, but it's, I know it's in that range. With us paving, like we have been, those trucks has run every day. There's not been much, those trucks been sitting on summers.
That's about as many miles as I've got on me. And what was the total number on that again?
This estimate here is for $9,615.30.
That's all labor and everything?
Yep, it's got it all in there, yep.
Well, I can tell you from experience, that's a very good price.
Yeah. I think the parts was like 3,900, I believe it was, something like that. Maybe And there's some other stuff I had done. Small parts of gas, so he's got it broke down a little bit.
Any further questions or thoughts, commissioners?
No, I have none.
Anything, Commissioner Johnson?
No?
Okay. All right. I'll make a motion that we approve the $9,615.30 estimate for Zach to have the truck repaired. I'll make that motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Thanks, guys.
Good to go.
I'll bring you up to date a little bit on something where, you guys, and I do appreciate you guys voting on this and helping me with this, the prison detail. I'll bring you up to speed on some of the things that we've been doing. They picked up a couple of roads, and last week and this week, they picked up 175 bags of trash. This last week or so.
Wow.
And, I mean, those guys are just, they're doing it, so I'm picking up the guy.
That's great.
Beaver dams, they love those things. We've been busting a lot of those. Yeah, they don't care to get in there.
That's wonderful.
And they do it by hand, they're not doing machines, so they're doing it by hand, so they're competing with the
God bless them.
Well, I know all the guardrails, there's been a bunch of comments, positive comments on the guardrails finally, after all these years of getting them cut.
trees, all the stuff up behind them. Yeah, bridge ends, we've done all the approaches to the bridges. They've been out there busy. I don't know, people live.
Because with the grown up, all the head walls and the bridges that are grown up, I mean, it'd be kind of hard to ever spot a problem, so
Yeah.
it's a good idea keeping them.
Definitely, if they find a problem, they report it, maybe they've got a few little things that they can cure of, it's gonna be a very good help.
You think they're gonna like those beaver dams when it gets cold?
I don't believe they care. They don't, I mean, they don't care.
You need to save the deep ones for when it gets cold.
Zach, tell me how many you got working, and usually how many days a week do we get them?
They do 4 days a week,
Four?
that's what they're doing, yeah. And we usually have 6 to 8. 6 is the minimum, 8's the, well, they actually can get 10 out there, but 8's the normal number that they get. They're scattered some out around some other places. The deal with the guards is the big deal right now, not having enough guards to take care of all of them, so we're spreading some guards out.
You don't have the same guard every time?
Every day we have the same guard.
Good, good.
He's top notch, I'm big with that.
Great.
Taking care of everything, no problems.
He's from Fannin County,
He is
too.
from Fannin County.
So,
Yeah.
good,
Takes some pride in it, so
that's right.
thanks, guys.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Item number 8, condemnation update. Ms. Woody, come on down. Hey, Marie.
Thank you, Marie.
So there's really no changes in the condemnation. I did clean it up a little bit, Earl, so that all of them, the pending ones are on the bottom, the completed ones are on the top. I think we got a question about that last time. So there's really no real update on it. The ones at the bottom are pending. 2 were from previous years, and the bottom 5 are current ones. And as you can see in my actions or notes, they're working on them, or they're complicated situations, nursing home situations and so forth.
Where do we stand on Ada Street, South Ada Street?
I talked to you yesterday about that, and I called Lynn Dawes, and she sent an email, and I'll give y'all each a copy of it.
So the one on Ada Street, it's pending for court action. Is that where we're at with that?
That's what Lynn's makes a statement in here, yes.
Okay. What about, the one in Mobile?
She didn't make a comment on that one. I asked her about both.
Okay.
Any progress, either one, positive or negative?
That would be a question for Ms. Dawson. I can't answer that because she was.
I mean, on the amount of junk.
Oh. Yeah. There might be a little less on South 8th Street, but not, it's not a great significance that you could recognize it. The last time I was out there, which was probably about 2 weeks ago, I was by there. I have not been to Mobile in a while, to be honest.
Is there anything else that you can do at Mobile, or is this completely in the county attorney's hands now?
As far as I know, it's in her hands. I don't know of anything else I can do.
Is there any way, I mean, I know we'd be asking probably a lot, but if we could kind of track, maybe once a month, progress? Because the reason why I ask that is, because it seems like some of the spots, or one of the spots is getting worse. So, if there's any way we could, like, have
Do you want
proof.
pictures? Do you want me to go out and
No,
take
well, I mean, I'm
pictures?
just asking, do you think that would, or what do you think? I think if we had some sort of progress, I mean, the only progress I can tell is go back to the aerial photos of 2015 on Google Earth or on the tax assessor website, and you can see how clean things were. And now, you know, I mean, so there's a progress there that we can definitely see from aerial shots, but as far as, I mean, especially if these things are going to court, I think we probably need to have some sort of photographs or evidence of something showing that they're not getting cleaned up, they're probably getting worse. 8th Street, I haven't, you know, I don't know if maybe that's something maybe Ms. Dawson should answer, but I think we need to have some sort of evidence showing progression, either for better or for worse.
I'm making
Okay.
And this is just on the, like the ones where we're at the point of turning them over into the court.
That way we have
Yeah.
photographic evidence that, you know, where it was, because I think you've got some older photos. If we had some maybe newer shots, maybe once a month or something, just go by and snap a shot and say, you know, this is where it's at this point. That way, if it not be us, a judge can say, you know, this has progressively gotten worse, or, you know, they've tried cleaning up. I don't think that's gonna be the case, but there'll be evidence to show the progress one way or another.
So next month, on those two locations, when we're talking about having a little more information, photographs, whatever we can get. Yeah.
That'd be good.
I think that's the only way we get things done, is just try to stay on it. And you've got quite a few here over a period of time. You've got 15 locations that have been cleared up since 2017. And that's quite a bit of work done, and we appreciate that. That doesn't happen easily. And you've got another 7 on here, not counting the 2 we just mentioned. So that's a lot of cleanup in the county over that period of time. But I think whatever way we do it, if we have updates on the ones that are pending, but the ones that are kind of in the more of a critical pre-court status, having a little more information is, I'm good with that. How about you, Commissioner Patterson?
Yes, I am.
And some of these are pretty complicated when we have an owner that's become, well, they've either passed away or they're basically incapacitated, and trying to get relatives involved and get that done. That really gets pretty complicated, doesn't it? And I noticed that on several of these right here, that you've got that situation.
Like pending number 7.
Yes, sir.
So are they communicating with you and trying to clean up?
The father was in Florida. He had early dementia. he'd gotten the letter and laid it down. His daughter had went to check on him because she had felt like there was other things going on or happening. She found the letter, called me immediately when she found the letter, which was like, it's probably been 60 days ago that she contacted me. She came up here and actually, her and her brother came and actually met with me. And she had something going on in the month of September, a wedding, her daughter was getting married. And so I said, well, we'll give you a 60-day extension. And they've already done some work at the property. How they got the trailer taken down that was there, I'm not sure about that. I tried to call her today to get an update with her, and I did not reach her. So, she was gonna contact a couple of companies. Schuler was one of them that she mentioned, and a couple of other companies that have the go-cut, the carts, the dump things, dump boats, whatever, and see if who could come and take it down. So that's what she was planning on doing.
So they're communicating, or any of these others actively communicating with you? I mean, because I think if they're trying to communicate with you, that's kind of the best case scenario.
I did speak to number 3 today, and she said she had been trying to contact her attorney to get the process going through the court. That had not been an easy task. Mr. Smith came in back before, it was probably the later part of July, and said he should be able to take it down in August. I have not checked on that one.
Which one is that?
Oh, I'm sorry,
5.
number 5.
Let's use numbers instead of
I'm
names.
sorry.
Yeah.
So 3, 5, and 7 are actively communicating.
And number 1 has been an ongoing process for a while. They still have not set the state, to my knowledge.
Well, I think we have to handle these in just the correct tone of staying involved, trying to move people forward, but we don't want to cross the line where somebody considers us bullying them. I mean, when we have exhausted all avenues and we have no other options, then we look at going to court. And that's certainly the last resort, but we want to avoid that, and we don't want to put people in that position. And I think staying on top of these, and as long as you can see some progress being made that's acceptable to the board, then we'll keep on doing it. I don't have any further questions. How about you, Commissioner Patterson?
No, sir.
Let me give you one more document. I'll give you the,
Do you have any further questions on this, Commissioner Johnson?
I just like to hear that several of them are trying to communicate. It's a lot easier to deal with somebody that's actively communicating versus someone that's ignoring you, so.
so our building permits were up this month for the month of September. We had 36. Last month we had only 11. Our total for the year is 218. We're 52 away from being even with what we had in 2018. That's 52 permits to sell between now and December 31st for new homes only.
This looks like it's on the same level, maybe slightly ahead of last year, fairly equal to what it was year before last and the previous year. You seeing any fall off in permits? What do you anticipate, if you can, for the rest of the year?
I can anticipate, usually in December it's pretty slow. August was very slow. It was really scary when there was only 11 new homes issued in August. And then September kind of blew that away. But I think there's going to be some code changes next year in 2020. And we may see a very large increase in December if they want to get past those new codes for 2020. And I'm not sure what those codes are, they're building codes.
You don't know?
I haven't memorized them yet. No, sir. Sir, I do not know them, I'm sorry.
Any further questions for Ms. Woody?
No, I'm good.
Maybe if you handed out candy next month, your grades would go up.
Which one, chocolate or vanilla ice cream?
And that's a significant change from August to September, 11 to 36, that's a,
It was scary in August because it was like, there's nobody coming in doing your homes.
amazing. That's
And
all.
we may see an increase in December, like I said, when that code goes into effect. But as you can see, last year, we only had 17 in December, so 18 in November. You got a lot of holidays in there too that's going to affect it, you know, Christmas and Thanksgiving and New Year's and all that. So that's going to be days that we're not going to be there, but I don't know. I say we'll probably break even with what we had last year. I don't think we'll go significantly above that.
No.
Just try the candy.
Thank you, Ms. Williams.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Commissioners, that's all we have on the agenda for tonight. We need executive session.
I don't, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Just one final note, tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock here, we'll have budget hearings with the department heads and elected officials. That'll be from starting at 9 o'clock in the morning and go throughout the day. Other than that, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion.
All right, I'll second. All in favor? Thank you folks for coming.